we were told tariffs don't work, trade wars are lose-lose. What happened?
Well, we were told wrong. and that was the craziest part about all of this is you just go and check history. For instance, tariffs mean automatic inflation. Look at Smoot-Hawley. Well, go look at it. It was the greatest deflationary period of our time. In fact, that was the issue. Well, tariffs can hurt the economy. Look at the Roaring '20s. We had the Emergency Tariff Act in 1921. Then we had the Ford and E. Macomber Act in 1922 that went all the way through 1930. The market up 500%. Go back to McKinley. The same thing. It's so ironic. Tariffs actually worked, and they worked very well. And believe me, when they talk about these extra 30 days, you wonder, okay, well, what's that about? You got to believe that President Trump, and he keeps dropping hints, would love to go for the whole shebang. Canada, the 51st state. We have Greenland, and we keep these tariffs on because we want to bring businesses back. We want to bring manufacturing back. We want to really, really secure long-term prosperity. A few years ago, when all the experts said China was going to pass America, what was the main reason for that? China plays the long game. We got to play the long game. You have people out there 1 hour into the tariffs already declaring us losers, right? So we've got to play a longer game, and the longer game is actually using our might while we have it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, and today we got to continue the conversation and reference these tariffs. This first clip that I'm about to share with you is Jake Tapper interviewing a Baltimore business owner. He actually owns a steel mill, steel factory, something along those lines. I want you to check this short clip out, and then we're going to get into Scott Jennings, because Scott Jennings consistently destroys these low IQ voters. We got to check it out. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on so you never miss an upload. Let's get into it.
Despite recession warnings, some applaud President Trump's tariffs. The CEO of Marlin Steel in Baltimore, Maryland, says he's thrilled with the tariffs. His plant makes wire baskets and sheet metal for industries ranging from aerospace to food processing. Here's what one factory worker of his told us.
One of the products that we made was our competition was from Canada, and they were using Chinese steel, and it's become more profitable, and it's exciting. So very optimistic about it.
Joining us now is the CEO of Marlin Steel, Drew Greenblatt, who joins us from the floor of his company. Drew, thank you so much for joining us. So you say you're a big fan of the tariffs. Your company exports to dozens of countries, including China. Chinese leaders now say they're prepared for a full-on trade war with the United States. If China stops buying Marlin Steel, how much of a hit will your business take, or will the tariffs help you in other ways that make up for it?
Tariffs are going to be very good for the American manufacturing worker. We're very excited about this new leveling of the playing field. Right now, when we export, for example, this basket to Germany right here, it's a precision medical basket, a medical device basket. When we ship that to Germany, the German government taxes our clients $128.95 per basket. If a German competitor ships it to America, it's $1.25 per basket. It is so unfair what's happening to the American worker. They can't compete when you have that kind of unlevel playing field. We're talking about an opportunity finally to create a lot of millions of American jobs, middle-class jobs, if we could get it fair. We're not looking for something over the German factory workers or the British factory workers, the Chinese factory workers. We just want to be fair. If we're fair, the American technology, creativity, work ethic is going to just do extraordinary things. And we're going to create millions of American jobs with this new paradigm. It's wonderful news.
And this is what they don't want you to hear, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they don't want you to hear. The auto workers, the president of the union, I know he's a wealthy dude, but the president of the United Auto Workers of America came out and said the same thing. These tariffs, it's good. It's going to bring jobs back to America. We've been hemorrhaging jobs over the past 2 decades to China and other nations out there. This is a no-brainer. And what he just described, and honestly, I believe this is the first time that they've allowed somebody to articulate the disparity between the two tariffs and what it costs Americans to do business in other nations in comparison to what it costs to do business here in this country. We're getting robbed, man. We're getting robbed and we're being taken advantage of, and it's time for it to stop. To be honest with you, it's past time. it stopped.
We've saw a little bit of a bounce back today. Stock futures are up. It's kind of unclear what's going to happen, but trust has been lost. And that's really what worries me. I think that investors may, say, okay, things could get finessed in the next couple of weeks, but what about 3 months from now? What about 6 months from now? What I hear from investors across the board is folks going to short-term assets, folks going to safety havens. There's also, I think, pain in the markets that we haven't seen yet. And let me point out something that is undercovered, which is that people were selling off gold and they were selling off treasuries. They don't generally sell things like that in a panic. That means that they're trying to cover losses and stem blood flow from other problems that we don't see yet in the market. We are at the very early days of this. And so to take it lightly, to say, oh, everybody's going to come in line and things are going to be fine, very, very naive. Not to mention what China's going to do, which we can get to.
Well, what she's not telling you is those people that were probably selling off gold and selling off those treasuries, those are the people that were over leveraged in the market. And they probably suffered what a lot of these over leveraged traders they're afraid of. It's the call that no one wants, which is called a margin call. It's called a margin call. See, the thing is, what people got to understand is that these people that trade, a lot of times they're trading on borrowed money. And when the market goes against their trade, there's this thing, it's called margin call. You got to go pay it back once you get so far down. And that's probably what happened. And in order to pay that money back that they borrowed, they're having to trade or sell gold and things of that nature. It's just called a margin call. And the thing is that the average American, it's not something that you have to deal with because most of y'all ain't buying stocks on credit. That's basically what margin is.
So I think that what we're seeing is countries from all around the globe, except for China, saying, we want to make a deal. We do not want these tariffs. What Trump is saying, and he's learned his lesson from the first time he was in office, where China made a lot of promises and didn't follow through on them. There was also a lot of behind the scenes deals that they tried to do with Europe, and Europe basically said, yes, we will do whatever you want, and then never did anything. So what I think the message right there to Israel was, you need to actually do it. We're not going to reduce your tariff based on your promise. We're going to do it when we see the trade surplus that you run against us, the United States trade deficit, come down, then your tariffs will come down.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people disagree that trade deficits are inherently bad. It's kind of like not great economics to assume that's the case, but that's not here nor there, I guess.
What is Abby talking about? A trade deficit is terrible. We don't want to be in a situation where it costs us more to do business in your nation in comparison to what it costs to do business in our nation. We don't want that to be the case. And we're in a position where we got to generate revenue. We got to figure out how we can generate revenue. And we need to do it in a fairly quick or expeditious manner. It's something that needs to happen. But again, people like Abby and others, in my opinion, the people that are, maybe the elitists or whatever the case may be, they don't have any interest in pulling up the working class. They're only concerned with whatever money they have stashed away in the market, and they're only concerned with the billionaires. And I find it funny that they are concerned with the billionaires in reference to this situation. But just a year ago, they were telling us that the billionaires need to pay more money. Which one is it? Are you into protecting billionaires, or do they need to pay more of their fair share of their bread? Which one is it?
First of all, what we saw there with Netanyahu is classic Trump quid pro quo, the transactional president. He immediately conflated the tariff issue with the $4 billion in aid that the US gives. And we've seen that again and again and again with Europe. We've seen it across the globe. What are you going to do for me? Yeah. That's always the answer. Never mind long-standing, Canada relations, whatever. So that's the first thing. It's a transactional quid pro quo arrangement. But Peter Navarro, and it's not often I'd ever agree with Peter Navarro, but he summed it up. You can take your tariff offer right down to zero, and it won't make a darn
As several countries have.
And
Vietnam,
it won't make any difference because
Israel.
the real issue is non-tariff barriers. If you go down to zero on your nominal, the US exports still can't get in, and the uncertainty means people still won't be investing over here.
But when you start to talk about non-tariff barriers, you get into the bigger topic of the way the whole global trading system works. And this is my real problem with what's happening right now. I think we had a golden opportunity. I think Trump had a golden opportunity to come out and say, we're going to build on what I did in my first administration. We are going to really rejigger things. China has come into the system. It's run in a completely different way than the countries, European and American, the countries that built the global trading system. We need to change this. Instead, he's thrown the entire chessboard up. You can't do it alone. There's horse trading going on, not just between the U.S. and other countries, but China and Europe and all the other countries around the world that are thinking, we can't trust this guy. That's not a way to get to a new system.
The other thing that's happening is that, some of the people in Trump's corner, the billionaires who they make money for a living, they are starting to freak out. And principal among them is Bill Ackman. I actually want to play Bill Ackman from a couple months ago, back in December.
This person has her own TV show. They make money for a living.
When he was singing a very, very different tune. Listen to this.
We're stepping into, I would say, the most pro-growth, pro-business, pro-American administration I've perhaps seen in my adult lifetime. President Trump will do nothing that interferes with the success of the country, the success of the economy. And I think he's going to be very thoughtful about tariffs.
You do?
I think it's a very powerful tool that can be used to level the playing field.
Okay, so now here we are today. He says, on April 9th, if we launch an economic nuclear war on every country in the world, business investment will grind to a halt, consumers will close their wallets and their pocketbooks, and we will severely damage our reputation with the rest of the world. It will take years to potentially rehabilitate it. He talks about, as Rana was saying, business is a confidence game, and that confidence has been shattered. These are people who know what they're talking about, and they like Donald Trump. They just think that this is a catastrophic mistake.
Yeah, I like Bill Ackman, by the way, and think he's an important voice, but he's not the only voice. And, the president's getting a lot of advice from a lot of different people, but I tend to just listen to the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, who was on television late this afternoon talking about now there's 70-plus countries that are calling up, wanting to discuss how we're going to deal with them in the future. And what I really hope that they wind up doing with those 70-plus countries, and it'll probably be more by tomorrow, is this. Listen, you need to understand, we're trying to do something different here. We think we've been taken advantage of, and we're responding to the working class of this country. If you will help us, if you will understand that we can have a fairer system here that's fair to the United States, we can align ourselves against the true enemy, which is China. And if you want to get in bed with China and think they're a trustworthy partner, that is a complete, ridiculous, stupid, terrible idea. Stick with us, be fair to us, and stick with us, and we'll align ourselves against China because they cannot be trusted.
Yeah, the Chinese definitely cannot be trusted, and they only really care about themselves and pushing their agenda and putting China first. And you know what? I'm not mad at them for it. I'm not upset for them believing, in their nation and having a sense of pride in their country and nationalism. I'm not upset. I'm not upset about it at all. So let's just call it what it is. These tariffs, they're not chaos. They're calculated. It's a negotiation tool. It's spelled out, in trade documents. And guys like Scott Bessent, they've been saying it nonstop. But the media, the billionaire class, the professional pundits, they're the ones panicking. And why? Because for the first time in decades, someone has decided to stand up for the American worker, not the global elite, but the American worker. Trump isn't doing this to help Wall Street. He's doing it to rebuild the American middle class, the people who have been crushed by 60 years of bad trade deals and open border policies. And the critics, they still can't give you a solid reason why this is wrong. And they also don't have another solution. There's no alternative solution coming from the other side. And deep down, they know what this really is. It's a reset, a reversal of the status quo, and they can't stand it. See, the thing is that you got a lot of these elitists. They want to see the rich get richer and everybody else continue to get poorer. They want a have and have not class. They want it. So while the talking heads can continue to cry, about market instability, working class Americans are asking one thing: will this help us in the long run? And increasingly, the answer is yes. And that's why over 50 countries have already reached out. They're already trying to negotiate some exemptions. That's why the elites, they're melting down. And that's why this matters, because this isn't just about economics. It's about restoring the heart of America. And that's exactly what's happening here. And it needs to happen. It has to happen. And I appreciate President Trump for attempting to do something. Because the last time I checked, I hadn't heard a solution from the other side other than let's just keep doing business as usual. We don't plan on changing anything. Something has to shake, man. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Turn the notifications on so you never miss an upload. If you'd like to support the channel in another way, consider joining the ARP family, or you can buy your man a coffee. A link in the description box below. Appreciate the support, the love. If you also got time in the morning, come check us out, 9:30 a.m. EST, Monday through Friday. Come join ARP in the morning, one of the livest chats and one of the nicest chats in all of YouTube. Come check us out. Come hang out with us. I appreciate the love, support. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.